Hi, in this video, we're going to learn how to enable LockDown browser in our Schoology courses. LockDown browser is a special test browser designed to lock students into the test so they can't look at outside resources while testing. So let's get started. I'm here in my Schoology course, and as a quick reminder, you do need to set up LockDown browser in each course for each assessment, but luckily it's just a few clicks, so it's not too bad. So here I am, I've got my test already configured and set up. So my next step is to go into LockDown browser. When I first come into LockDown browser, I'll see some information here and some different tutorials and things like that. If I don't want to see this page again, I can say don't show again. Otherwise, I can continue. All of the assessments I have set up in my course are going to load, and I'm going to be able to see whether or not LockDown browser is required and whether or not live proctoring is required. We have a separate video on live proctoring if you're interested in setting that up. For now, we're just going to learn how to set up the browser. So I'm going to find a quiz that I would like to require this LockDown browser on and click the down arrow next to it and go into settings. My first step is to click this radio button that says require LockDown browser. And then I do have some advanced settings I can configure. The first one here is I can lock the students into LockDown until the exam is completed, meaning they can't just quit out for whatever reason. However, I can set up a password to give to my students if they need to close out early in case they have some sort of emergency. I can also decide whether or not to allow students to take this exam on an iPad. Since we don't use iPads in the district, I'm going to go ahead and leave this off. And I can also choose to allow access to an external web domain. So an example of why I might want to do this is if I have a link to an article or a YouTube video I'd like my students to be able to watch, I can enable them to go to that domain. They won't be able to just open up a new tab and go to YouTube. I would have to specifically have a link in my test. In this case here, I do have a link to a YouTube video, so I'm going to check this box here. And I want to type out just the name of the domain. So it would just be youtube.com. I don't need to link the full video. The direct link in my test will take them there. I can also enable a calculator on the toolbar. This is separate from the Schoology calculator. So I'm already giving them a Schoology calculator. I'm not going to give them a separate calculator in LockDown. And I can also decide whether or not I want to enable printing from the toolbar. In this case here, I want them to submit digitally, so I'm not going to enable printing. If I were to enable live proctoring, at that point I would continue on to these settings, but again, we have another video on that. So now I'm done. I can click Save and Close, and LockDown browser is now set up for my students for that test. Thank you for watching.